All right, Shalawam. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kwadash. Next, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered across the four corners of the earth. I'm your brother Kalak, out of the Great Millstone Atlanta camp, coming to you again with another Lord willing edifying video. And as you can tell from the title of this video, Christianity is a joke, because it indeed is a joke. Christianity is a religion that is loosely based on the Bible, and it was spread throughout the four corners of the earth through the sword of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And ultimately, the purpose of Christianity is for control over the minds of the masses, to submit to Edomite or white supremacy. Now, ultimately, the Lord allowed this religion to prosper for a period of time, all right, because we live in a movie. And the Lord allowed Esau, the so-called white man, to have his blessing. But now that his blessing is over, this religion known as Christianity is being exposed for the joke that it is. Revelation 2:26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. So one thing that Christianity does not acknowledge or teach is that the kingdom of heaven is a physical government that will be established here on the earth. It is not a place where you will float around in the sky like Christianity would have you to believe. In the kingdom of heaven, there will be a certain people ruling over another. Okay, there will be people walking around. That is something that Christianity does not teach and acknowledge. And once you do realize that the kingdom of heaven is a government that will be here on the earth, it completely unravels the Christian doctrine. This is Isaiah chapter 14:1. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh, for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is prophecy, something that Christianity does not acknowledge. Christianity cannot tie in prophecy of the Old Testament with the New Testament. Okay, they can't break down the Bible without making it contradict itself. But the Bible does not contradict itself, okay? Now, here in Isaiah chapter 14:1, it's speaking of how the Lord is going to restore his people Israel in the last days, and they will rule over their oppressors. Now, who are the Israelites? That is another thing that Christianity completely overlooks, or they actually try to do away with the Israelites. The Lord is still dealing with his people Israel, a race of people, okay? The same people that he dealt with in the Old Testament is the same people that he's still dealing with to this very day. So where is Christianity when it comes down to end time prophecy? Where is Christianity when it comes down to who are the Israelites? Because the Bible is about the Israelites, and Christianity would like to shame the Hebrew Israelites for saying that, but it is true. The Bible is about the rise, fall, and redemption of the Israelites through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, okay? In which he himself is a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Judah. So there's nothing wrong with saying that the Bible is about the Israelites. But here in these latter days, okay, this prophecy is about to come to pass. The Lord is going to restore his people Israel, which today are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners that may look like the other heathen nations, but according to the seed of your forefathers, you trace back to Jacob. Right now, the Israelites are in captivity to Esau Edom, the so-called white man, primarily here in America, which is Babylon the Great. But the Lord is about to undo that according to Bible prophecy, when he sets the Israelites back in their own land, which that lets us know that this prophecy has not happened yet, because the Israelites are still scattered into all of these lands to this day. This is Jeremiah chapter 23 and 7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that they shall no more say, the Lord Yahweh liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord Yahweh liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Another end-time prophecy, speaking of the Israelites, and how the Lord is going to take the Israelites from all of these distant lands and bring them back to the land of Israel. And we know this prophecy has not happened yet, because as it says here in Jeremiah 23 and 8, that once the Lord does this, we're no longer going to be speaking about how the Lord delivered the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Okay, so that's what lets us know this has not happened yet. All right, we would be talking about it all the time. This will be the most major event in all of human history. All right, now this also exposes the fake Jews in the land of Israel right now, claiming to be us. Okay, Christianity does not acknowledge that. Christianity has nothing to say about the JOO-ish people living in the land of Israel right now, claiming to be us. Obviously, they can't be the real Israelites. If they were the real Israelites, we would be speaking about how the Lord brought them back to that land, as it says here in Jeremiah 23 and 8. So this clearly has not happened yet. The true Israelites are not them over there in the land of Israel. It is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, primarily in America, Babylon the Great. Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Now skipping down to verse 15, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of almighty power. So this is speaking of the Lord Yahushai's return. He is coming back to take down all of the current nations on the world. Okay? America, China, Russia, so on and so forth. All of these current governments are going to be taken down when the Lord Yahushai returns. And Christianity does not teach that. All right? Or at least they don't put enough emphasis on it, because that includes America. The Bible is antagonistic to America and the so-called white man. Period, point blank. That is something Christianity does not acknowledge. Okay? This Bible is against the current powers that be, which is why Christianity is of this world. Christianity does not speak out against the current rulers of this world, Esau Edom and the rich elite banking families. They don't speak out against the corrupt government of America, which is 2025. It is clearly exposed that the so-called white man is wicked and that his governments are corrupt. The Lord has made it very clear, okay? And that's why the Lord is coming back to take all of it down. So the two sides are very clear. Either you're of this world and you want America and these current governments to continue on, or you want the Lord to come back and take down these governments and set up his. Which side are you on? Revelation 18:21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying thus with violence, shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. Babylon the Great is America. Okay, when you read in the scriptures, Babylon is all throughout the scriptures as a major end time kingdom that the Lord is coming back to take down. Okay, that is America. And the true men of the Lord will be speaking out against America. Okay, we will be looked at as theists, right? That's what the apostles of old were looked at. Why do you think Yahushua and his apostles died terrible deaths as martyrs? They spoke out against the current governments. That's what all the prophets did. So Christianity is off, clearly. 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Now this is speaking of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Now not every so-called white person is an Edomite. There are actually some white people that are Israelites through the seed of your forefathers. But for the most part, the so-called white man is Esau, according to Bible prophecy. He is the wicked, pursuing to Malachi 1:4, and the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, pursuing to Job 9:24. And then 2 Ezra 6:9 will tell you that Esau is the end of the world. So we clearly know who the wicked is. It is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. He is who runs this current world that is ran in wickedness, and he is who the Lord is primarily coming back to take down. 2 Thessalonians 2:9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. All right. This lets you know that it is a man. Okay. Even him. It's a physical man. Yes, there is a spiritual demon, Satan, right? That is true. But there's also the physical counterpart of Satan, which is Esau Edom. That is all throughout the scriptures, okay? And Christianity does not acknowledge that because Christianity is of this world. 2 Thessalonians 2:10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. All right. And this goes for all of you Israelites that are still in Christianity. You rejected the clear, obvious truth. All right. Here it is. You go by black and they go by white, even though your skin is brown and their skin is actually red. But you don't question that. You say you believe in the Bible, but there's no such thing as a black or white person in the Bible. So this actually just goes to show that your average Christian, they don't have a biblical worldview. They don't actually believe in the Bible. 2 Thessalonians 2:11. And for this cause, Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned, who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. That's your Israelite Christian. These so-called Christians today, they think they are referencing the God of the Bible, but really they are not. Really, they hate the God of the Bible. They don't want him to come back and do what he's going to do. And another thing is the name of the Lord. Christians will admit that Jesus could not have been his name. The letter J wasn't invented until the 1500s, but they still call him that name in sincerity like it's the true name. And then when we come along and tell them his true Hebrew name, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, all of a sudden, oh, it doesn't matter what his name is, or, just any excuse to not call on the Lord's true name. And that's ultimately because they don't really worship the true God of the Bible. They don't want anything to do with him. But that is Christianity for you. It is completely of this world. They don't want the Lord to come back. They want America to keep going on. All right. They don't want the Lord to come back, set up a government on the earth. All right. And have his laws in place. But Lord willing, this video was edifying and straight to the point. Christianity is a joke. So with that, I'm going to end it by giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Once again, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalawam.